All right. Well, I think we're pretty much ready to get
Cool.
started. So, to those who don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself just briefly?
Uh, well, my name's Jason, also known occasionally. Used to do a series called Until We Win. That's since died out. Used to be on that guy with the glasses, left them, and now I do my own thing called Drop Dead Cynical, where we're just we're just a bunch of assholes who go around and make fun of the internet and the internet culture.
Awesome. Well, I'm ExtraMana. I've been making some videos on that guy with the glasses and a bunch of other stuff recently, and for some reason, people want to talk to me, so that's what we're doing. So, before we go into what you currently feel about that guy with the glasses, what was your goal, or what did you want to achieve when you were with them? Like when you started with them?
When I first, all right, so when I first started out, I took a little bit of an interest in video editing,
Mm.
and so I thought it was kind of cool to record myself beating hard video games because that's kind of what I did. That's what I was a little bit known for with my friends. So that's what I did. I made a video on Ghostbusters and how to beat that, and learned some video edit techniques and how to actually record video and script and do all that fun stuff. And people seem to take a liking to it. Posted on the That Guy with the Glasses forums. And eventually got invited to start actually posting regularly, content regularly on the website.
Awesome.
But my goal was literally just to learn how to video edit. That was it.
So, did you see the Mr. Medical videos that have been coming out recently?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
So, did you see the one on Spoony that he put up? I think it was last month, maybe.
I've seen. I saw the Doug Walker one. I didn't watch the entire Spoony one, but I got the gist of it.
So he was in that video. He was bringing up when you and Spoony were getting interviews from video game developers. I think you mentioned this on a podcast some time ago when you had the opportunity to interview Notch. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I, the thing with Notch was, and Notch never knew that I was gonna actually interview him, so that sucked. I was going through gatekeepers to get to Notch, but I had an opportunity at uh, uh the fucking conference. What is it called? Um, GDC, the Game Developer Conference, and I had an opportunity to actually maybe spend 5 minutes with Notch, get a quick interview with him, say hi to him, whatever, and I got turned away. One of the gatekeepers was not very interested in the people I was associated with antics at three, so that was that pissed me off. It was not a very fun day. But they were not interested in being associated with that, or they were doing what gatekeepers do.
Mm-hmm.
They were protecting their valuable property. So I mean, I don't blame them at all. It's not like it destroyed me or any career or anything, but it was just one of those things that unfortunately I had a very bad reaction to it. Yeah, you live and learn and you try to move on from it.
Fair enough. So, uh, did you consider when you were with that guy with the glasses? Did you consider anyone there to be friends, or were they just people you worked with?
uh Rolo T, he was pretty cool. um Sketch was always a friend. Um, I'm trying to think of a couple of other people that I would consider to be friends. I've never really hung out with anyone. Like everybody was just acquaintances online. Cold Guy was cool. Hung out with him a few times. Nick, aka Y Ruler of Time, though I'm sure he disagrees. Um, and that's about it. Like there's really, I mean, as far as like what would be considered camaraderie, I never really felt it. I'm more of a I'm more of a in real life kind of guy. Like you gotta you gotta hang out with me IRL, man. Otherwise it's just you just dudes I know online. We just played video games every once in a while. Okay, that's fine. I have a life outside of that. And we don't discuss any of that. We don't hang out. We don't watch sports. We don't, we don't chat about the things I like outside of video games. It was just that's all it was. It was always, always, always video games. It was a bit much for me.
Was it like that when you were doing like collabs with Spoony and stuff back in the earlier days, or?
Um, you know, the earlier days were just random sort of events that would happen, and then you would meet up. People would be like, "Oh, that's cool. Let's do that. Oh, okay, that's cool. Let's do that." They weren't. I wouldn't consider it to be like good deep friendships in the slightest. I mean I have some good deep friendships, but they're completely different to the relationships I had with the people at Channel Awesome. So I wouldn't necessarily consider people my friends or um, not because they're not good peeps, because work more than anything else. Like it would be like at my current workplace saying, "Oh yeah, we're friends." Well, we're friends because we're friendly coworkers, not because we hang out all the time. We go grab a beer together. We go, we watch sports together or anything like that. We're friends because you have to be friendly in that work environment. Outside of that, I don't know if I consider anyone my deep friend there.
So I was talking to Iron Liz last week about what it was like to shoot on set for the films. Um, I don't know if you saw that stream, but what was it? Was it like very stressful to shoot for the films, or what was the atmosphere like back then?
So I was only there for Kickassia, which it pains me to even say that word. It sounds so stupid to me. But um, we got flown out to Reno, got flown out there, and then to actually shoot, it was not so much of it wasn't so much a film shoot as it was, okay, we're gonna stuff all these people in this guy's living room, and then Doug and company are going to go out and they're going to film things for hours on end while we're going to sit there and twiddle our fucking thumbs. So, I mean, I guess it's similar to the way films are actually shot, but you're in the middle of Hollywood. You're not in the middle of fucking the Reno desert where you are just sort of sitting there waiting to die and hoping that you get some sort of lunch. And, it just wasn't very pleasant. It wasn't a very pleasant experience for me. I'll say that much. But I mean, overall, it was we got flown out to Reno. We got put up in a hotel where we bunked with several other people. Then we all crammed into a couple of cars that they rented or they got out there somehow. We drove out to the middle of the desert at like I don't know, like 8 in the morning, something ridiculous like that. And then I don't even remember what time it was. Don't quote me on 8 in the morning. It could have been 3 in the afternoon for all I remember. Um, we would drive out to this guy's house in the middle of the desert, and then for the next 12 to 15 hours we'd shoot a video. Or technically we'd watch them shoot videos, and it was, I mean, to be honest with you, it was probably one of the more miserable experiences just because the payoff was so small. Like there's a difference between doing hard work and getting paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then doing hard work and not seeing any return on the investment at all. And that was one of those things where there wasn't any return on investment for me. So, I would say it was probably one of the more miserable things I've done. Yeah.
So Iron Liz was telling me that, like you mentioned, they didn't actually pay any of the producers. It was just assumed that this was supposed to be a form of promotion, and that was payment. Was that kind of the attitude they had, or?
All right. So the way it was pitched to me, and I've since learned over the years that it was pitched differently to different people,
Mm-hmm.
but to me it was pitched as, okay, you're gonna get to Reno. It's not Las Vegas, but there's still gambling out there. You're gonna come out there to meet all your friends, have a good time, shoot crossovers, and you're gonna shoot this big video with us too, and we'll be there for about a week, or I think that's what it was, like a week or something, but or a weekend. I really don't remember. It's so cloudy. Um, And that's how it was pitched to me. Like, this is going to be a great promotional video for channels. You're going to help the company grow, and you're going to. They try to build that whole indie startup mentality where the employee is supposed to sacrifice for the company because there'll be a payoff in the end. Well, there's no payoff in the end.
Mm.
That's the problem. That's the huge problem right there. If you are working in a startup and you are expected to do is and crunch code your entire life for the next 2 years, you're expecting a payoff, and that payoff is an IPO or some sort of buyout from your stock options. But with this one, we didn't get any of that. What we got was, those crossovers you filmed, that's going to the company channel, so the company can make money on that. Oh, that big video you filmed, well, that's going to be promotion for the whole channel, and you'll be in it, and people will see you, right? So that'll be your payoff. And that's not really, looking back on it, that's not something I should have done. I should have told them, no, I'm not interested. Thank you, though, and went our separate ways there. But me being young and stupid decided, oh yeah, this is a great idea. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was thinking maybe I'd spend some time getting drunk and gambling, but that didn't happen. So, uh, so yeah, that's how it was pitched to me. Like it was pitched to me as this is an opportunity for the company, and that you should put your blood, sweat, and tears into the company. And I get that, but again, there's no payoff at the end. So that's the difference between doing an actual startup, working in an actual startup environment, and working at Channel Awesome, was that there was no payoff for the employee at the end. You were just expected to sacrifice for no good fucking reason. And that's it just didn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me now. It used to make sense to me. But that's because I was stupid. I'm still kind of dumb, but you live and learn. But that's how it was pitched to me. It was pitched as an opportunity for the company, and it was an opportunity for the company, and good for them. I'm sure they. I know they didn't make a fucking red cent back of what they put into it. So, yay. But it is what it is. It was what it was. They did what they did.
When I was speaking to Iron Liz, she was talking about how there was, when it came to putting videos up on the site, there was almost like this political game going on with. I don't know when it became like that, but when you started, how did they manage putting people's video up on the site? Like, did you have to have a slot, or how did they handle it?
Yeah, so when I was there, they had they didn't have they kind of had Holly near the end of when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But before I was there was basically this big spreadsheet that you would access, and you would put your name in for a slot. And then that sort of went away because people never used it, and it was just sort of first come, first serve. At the time I was there, it was really first come, first serve, and people were rushing to put videos out. So you'd get front page coverage for like a day, if that. And then you'd get pushed to the second page where there are no views at all whatsoever. So it didn't really kind of didn't matter. And so I was there in a cycle where everybody was pushing out content like every other day, and I was there like doing it once a week, and there was no way I could do it any faster than that. But it was literally, here's our video, and they would put it to the front page. Then after however many videos they put to the front page knocked you off, that's when there's no scheduling system. There was nobody to manage things. There's nobody to corral the cats. It was just there. So it was what it was. It wasn't good. It was very chaotic. But hey, it was what it was. So you sort of live with it. But there was no management system there. There was no wrangler there to get everything in order.
So moving on to somewhat more recently, a lot of people after Blip went down, and a lot of people had to find ways to make money who were still on That Guy With the Glasses. What was your opinion on how people have been handling Patreon, especially, say, Spoony?
So I've always had a fundamental difference with the approach to money that many of the contributors at Channel Awesome have, and I absolutely loathe how they treat Patreon. To a certain degree, some of them have decent Patreons. But a lot of them, Spoony included, have this very lackadaisical attitude to providing any sort of rewards. Um, it's kind of scammy almost, in a way, in my opinion. That the way they go about this is they will say, oh well, let's reach this many goals, let's reach this many dollars, and for this many dollars I'll write a script. Only they don't write the script, and then they don't put the videos out that they said they're going to put out, and then they don't do anything. They just sort of keep taking the money in and just sort of sitting there and going, oh well, you're paying me, so too bad. That's see, because with my pay, like the only thing I can compare it to is my Patreon, and with my Patreon, it's literally, okay, you're paying money to see the show and help the show, help Drop Dead Cynical, my show. Anything else is extra content for you and good for you, and congratulations. But you're literally you're literally paying into the show to help the show grow. There's nothing else I'm going to promise outside of that. So if you want to contribute to that, fantastic, thumbs up, I love you. If you don't want to contribute to that because you feel like you should be getting something else, I'm sorry, you're not going to get it, and go spend your money somewhere else, but thanks for looking into it. That's sort of the line I take. I don't want to end up being, I hate it when people end up being the I'm going to give you all of this stuff for just $5, and then they don't give you any of it, like not even a hint that they're going to give it to you. So I absolutely hate that, and that's kind of where I see a lot of the Patreon guys are at right now. Is they want to promise the world to people. They're the people who sold the world. They're the man who sold the world. And it's kind of fucking scummy, and I really don't like it. It's kind of heartbreaking almost, in a way. Like to see people, to see these fans, thousands and thousands of fans, throw money at somebody and they do nothing with it. They don't even give rewards back. They don't even give the proper rewards back. They Channel Awesome had that Indiegogo where they raised almost $90,000, and we saw what, like, I think 11 of the 50 promised episodes of like 300 episodes worth of shows that they achieved in that Indiegogo.
Yeah.
You see shit like that, and it's just, okay, I get it. Maybe you were a bit overzealous. Actually, maybe you were very overzealous with what you were going to do, what you promised, but you did promise that. So what you should do is one of two things: either admit defeat and refund that money, or take down all of the extras, say, I'm not doing this anymore, follow through on the previously promised extras that people have already paid into, and then moving forward, correct your mistakes. But they don't correct the mistakes. They just sort of keep plowing forward like nothing matters because they just keep getting this money in. So me, it's kind of like a real scummy fucking thing to do, but that's what they want to do, so let them do it. I mean, fuck them.
I got someone in chat asking, when was it exactly that you left That Guy with the Glasses? And I'm curious as to what was your feeling.
Pretty shortly after Reno.
Yeah.
Pretty shortly after Reno. It was only like a few weeks after Reno, if that. It did not last very long at all. I told Rob Walker, I was like, I'm done. Goodbye. That was it. Like, I can't. I don't give a shit anymore. Because I experienced Reno. I experienced the very lack of any sort of return from that. The very real lack of return from that. And I quit. And I was like, I'm done. Bye. I can't do it anymore. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I hate video editing. It's just not my thing. I don't want to keep playing old video games, and the video games are fun, but I don't want to play them every week. I don't want to play a hard video game every week, and then I have to listen to people complain that I'm using save states. Well, guess what? You're not going to get a video every week unless I do that. You're going to get a video once every, I don't know, year, if that. So People bitching about save states, people bitching about a release schedule. Oh, how come this isn't this way? How come you're so bad at video editing? There just wasn't enough payoff for it. I was getting $2,000 every month, every 2 months maybe, depending on how bad depending on how bad the traffic was. I could make more money at McDonald's, so I just decided I'm gonna go make more money at McDonald's, and I did. So fuck that. Uh, I didn't understand. I didn't see the like it was so weird because you would get so many people saying how much they love the series and how much they love the shows and the personality and the attitude, and then you look at the money you get and you just go, this sucks. This really fucking sucks. I hate this. Why am I doing this? And I did that. I eventually came to a point. I was like, no more. And I let myself sort of languish for a while, saying, I would put out a UW dub every once in a while, just to sort of make people happy because I felt bad for them. But I got to a point where I just didn't care anymore. Just like, whatever, fuck it, man. It's just I wanted to live my life. I wanted to live a life. I couldn't do that way. I was making so much more money doing a minimum wage job that I just whatever. Forget UW dub, man. It wasn't worth it.
So that seems to be an attitude that certain people have on that guy with the glasses, is using it like a stepping stone onto something else. Did you ever, out of anyone you talked to, did you ever see a case where people were kind of hoping to use this to get further to... I know Spoony wanted to break into media proper. Did you ever see anything like that?
Let me start the list. Doug, Spoony, Lindsey. It's actually those three.
Right.
As far as everyone else is concerned, like most everyone else. Joe, Angry Joe. He always thought that guy with the glasses was a stepping stone, and you know what? For him, it turned out to be a stepping stone. So congratulations to him. But yeah, no, everybody else was just they were just cool people. A lot of them were really cool people. They were doing their thing. They were happy with their videos. They were happy with where they were in their lives, for what I could tell. I mean, I could be I don't want to put words in their mouths, but most everybody seemed to be, just happy and content with where their videos were and where they were going with their videos. They didn't really see any need to rock the boat or try to, achieve another stone. I mean, it was really Doug, Spoony, and Lindsey. They were three of the people who kind of, and Joe, I'm sorry, four of the people who would see that guy with the glasses as a stepping stone. Yeah, at least in my interactions with them, that's how they came off as.
So you mentioned Joe. What do you think of? I mean, obviously Spoony is a bit of a shambles, but what do you think of what Lindsey is moving on to right now? Because I know that I think she's still doing the Patreon thing, as far as I know, and Joe's still doing YouTube. He's actually still getting millions of views. I think he's probably done the best out of everyone.
So I don't really know much about Joe or Lindsey, to be perfectly frank. I know Lindsey considered herself my friend at one point, but I didn't share that feeling with her. Joe was always just sort of an aloof loner guy who did his own thing, and he was always headstrong and I'm going to go do this and we're going to go do this, and went and did it. As far as what they're doing now, with you, I don't keep up with it. The only time I ever talk about things is when somebody does something incredibly stupid and it pops up and it's on people's radars. That's the only time I ever really know about anything right now. Because I don't, I mean, just don't care. Like I've not a fan of Joe's content. He likes his stuff. People love his stuff and they eat it up, and good for him. But it's not my thing, and so I don't watch it. Lindsey, she's very political, and I don't share her political opinions, and I don't share her political spectrum and all that fun stuff. So it is so her content generally is a giant turnoff for me. Although I do know she used to write, or she wrote for Al Jazeera, I think, at one point. I don't remember exactly the details on that. But then I think that I don't remember. I know she wrote for somebody that got shut down, and I was hoping, and she was hoping to find a job somewhere else, but that didn't work out. So I don't know. It's all very like I hear. I don't have of Channel Awesome or that guy with the glasses or any single person there. I just the only thing I ever really hear is when somebody does something incredibly stupid and they're like, "Hey, Jason, did you hear what happened about this?" And I was just like, "No, let me go check this out. Wow, that's stupid. Going to talk about it on my podcast. Cool." That's really it, man.
So talking of this, um, what did you think of the whole Blistered Thumbs debacle?
Blistered Thumbs was interesting. Um, Blistered Thumbs was part of Channel Awesome's idea to expand past that guy with the glasses into a whole. They saw themselves as a whole network of content. They saw themselves as almost a All right, so the modern equivalent would be BuzzFeed. They see themselves as sort of like a BuzzFeed, but back then they didn't really know what that was. They just thought it was just one website. They didn't realize it was a whole network owned by was BuzzFeed owned by Condé Nast, or is BuzzFeed owned by BuzzFeed? I forget. But they see themselves like a Condé Nast type of business. Only when I brought that up, they would go, no, that's not what we're going for. Yes, that's exactly what you're going for. What are you talking about? Just model after somebody successful, and you should have a little bit of success. What are you doing? But they didn't. They wanted to stay away from stuff like that. So whatever. I just sort of rolled my eyes at it. But as far as Blistered Thumbs itself is concerned, I mean, Joe tried so hard to keep that site alive. And he just never got any outside support whatsoever from Michaud or anybody else at Channel Awesome. Any of the guys running Channel Awesome. I mean, there were plenty of people at Channel Awesome who wanted to help, who wrote for Blistered Thumbs. I know my friend Rob Grosso. He wrote for Blistered Thumbs. Wrote some excellent articles there too, and they just never gave it the support and the love that it could have used to grow into something else. It needed its own brand manager. And Channel Awesome needs its own brand manager, but they don't have that either. It needed its own brand manager. It needed its own team. It needed its own dedicated resources. It received none of that. It got the typical Channel Awesome treatment. I mean, look at the Channel Awesome website. That is a $50 theme for Joomla.
Yeah, I've actually built a site like that myself. It's pretty bad.
And well, it's awful, and I have a whole episode making fun of that shit website. And it's just, it's a $50 theme from Theme Forest for Joomla. That's not the type of design. That's not the type of effort. That's not the type of investment you make into a serious company. That's a kid's toy. That's a hobbyist sort of thing that they've done, and it's just when you're raking in that many thousands of dollars and you have that sort of support at the time. Nowadays it seems to be waning, but you had that sort of support from that many people. You could put a little bit more effort into it. You could put a little bit more oomph behind it. And Blistered Thumbs was one of those things. They had a lot of support from people who really believed in Blistered Thumbs as a concept. They had people who were starting to make headway into things like E3 and to start getting guest passes to things. And then you just had people doing stupid shit, and you had people not giving a shit, and you just had people fucking things up, and it just it crumbled. And that's what happens when you don't care, and when you don't care enough to keep something afloat long enough to make it successful. That's when things go to shit, and that's what happened to Blistered Thumbs. I mean, it's kind of a slap in the face of the people who put all that effort behind it, especially when things fail all the time, right? Businesses fail all the time, startups fail all the time. Like something like 99% of them will fail in a year, or 90%, whatever the fuck number it is. I don't some bullshit number somebody pulled out of the air. They'll fail, but they'll fail after investors have put money into it, after management has tried a lot of things, after the employees have worked their asses off. They'll still fail because maybe the business model wasn't there, maybe there wasn't any ad revenue, or however, or whatever it was. They'll fail, but the people behind it at least tried. And that's the thing about Blistered Thumbs: the people behind it didn't try. They sort of put it up and went, well, we got a lot of gamers here, so we'll just put them on Blistered Thumbs. Bye. That's really what happened.
So, with that in mind, where do you think the future of content production on YouTube is heading? And I suppose, do you see that Channel Awesome is no longer relevant because it's a different period on the internet, or do you think it's just been
Oh,
mishandled, or what?
I think Channel also made themselves irrelevant when you could, because when you compared what modern content is on YouTube versus what Channel Awesome or the League of Super, is it the League of Super Reviewers?
The League of
Is
Super
that what it is?
Critics,
Or
yeah.
Super Critics, right? Yeah. There's another problem, is just more confusing branding. Like, why is your thing the League of Super Critics and not Channel Awesome? Why,
Yeah.
and why name the League of Super Critics? Why don't you just name it some sort of company? Give it a cool company name that people want to work at or be associated with, not the League of Super Critics. You sound like a bunch of fucking autistic spurgs. Stop it. Um, but so anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting into a little ranty there. Um, the content on YouTube has surpassed Channel Awesome. They've gone way past that. Content creators on YouTube now are, they're the multi-million view type of content creators who get millions of views every day, not every couple of videos. They get millions of views every day. They have professional people working with them, working for them to get their content out there, to keep them on top of the trends that are going on. They have entire networks dedicated people in the loop.
So this would make me think of like Smosh's
Money
network and things
YouTube's
like that.
advertisers make. So they have an entire support network that is far beyond anything channel. It goes it goes incredibly far beyond what Channel Awesome does, wherein Doug sets up a camera in front of himself and then records himself, and then he writes his own script, records himself, edits his own videos, uploads his own content. Honestly, think PewDiePie does that? And do you honestly think PewDiePie does not have people to help him do that? They have an entire support network, a support staff around him to deal with stuff like that. Um, it's gone way beyond what anything the nascent years could have brought us. And that happens. That's just technology. That's just business evolving. You either evolve with the times, or you slowly die out and languish. They're to use this one ironically. They're turning into Circuit City. They're eventually just going to fade away and die because they never evolved. They never kept up with the times.
So I've got someone in chat asking your thoughts on a contributor called Diamanda Hagan.
The Amanda Hagan,
Yeah.
Clownface, I used to call her. Yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't really have an opinion on her anymore. She got really, I don't know. We got into a argument a while ago, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember what it was about. I just know that she hated me and I hated her fucking guts. And I don't 100% remember. I do remember calling her clown face. But I've since stopped. Using that terminology. Just because I found out that I just found out some information through friends of hers that I'm not going to disclose, but I felt bad using that terminology, so I don't use that anymore. But I will say that yes, I said that. Hey, it was what it was. I can't hide from that. But I don't really have a current opinion on her. I'm so far removed from that I don't really think that I don't really think anything I have to say is relevant. You know.
So talking about more recent stuff, when you do a podcast, are you putting on a persona, or are you just speaking directly as you, or how do you approach that?
Well, it's a little column A, a little column B. The best content out there is both scripted and acted, but at the same time you've mixed reality in with that. So yeah, there are a lot of it is not me. You wouldn't if you came to work to my if you came to my office and sat down with me, I'm a completely different person than any sort of personality you'd see on the show. I'm a very laid back, very calm, easygoing person. I get really upset at stupid people. I really do, but I don't. I don't rant. I don't rave. I don't do things like that. The show itself is a little bit of a both the ranty ravey fake guy known as LordKat and the real me. You mix a little bit of reality in there, and then people suddenly can't tell the difference, and it's a bit of a hook. It's a bit addictive for the people who do watch. Not very popular, obviously, but whatever. I don't give a shit. What I do give a shit about is doing what I want to do and doing what's fun. And for me, pretending to be a shock jock, that's fun. So I have fun with it. We come with bits, we come with shit we want to talk about, and that whole process is fun to me. If I could one day grow that into something big, that I think that'd be really special. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, I mean, what you hear on the show is a show host, is a shock jock. He's trying to shock you. He's trying to gross you out. He's trying to make you feel emotion that maybe you're not comfortable feeling, maybe you don't want to feel, but those emotions are there, and playing with those emotions and manipulating them, that's fun. That can be very fun. But you have to be willing to go along with the ride. And a lot of people are not willing to take that ride. They want to be happy all the time, or they want to have their own opinions reaffirmed to them all the time. And that's not the job of a shock jock. That's not the job of somebody who's willing to critique society, and who's willing to spend time tearing down preconceived notions of what life should be. And that's kind of how I see myself. But it's not me. There are things I've said on there that I don't agree with. There are things Adam have said on there that I don't agree with, that even he doesn't agree with him saying that. Matt and Dan and Tim, we've all said things on there that we don't necessarily believe in, but we said because it was funny for the moment, or it fit in the moment, and it worked. Not necessarily, that you think is something that should actually happen. For example, the gulag thing from yesterday, that nobody actually believes that. None of us actually believe that, but at the same time, it's a pretty funny bit. It was a pretty funny bit by Adam, so we ran with it. It was pretty cool.
So someone from chat was asking, what was your experience with Twitch? Like, because you've been using Twitch for a while, haven't you? Like back
I was on Twitch before Twitch existed. It was on Justin TV.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was using it for a while. It was thanks to Russell, aka Horror, got me in touch with a couple of guys at Twitch and started using it. And I was always into live streaming, and this was actually a great way to do it and learn how to do it and figure out how the whole thing works. And it was great. But yeah, before Twitch became Twitch, I was actually went out to GDC that year. The whole Notch debacle happened, but at the same time, I got to meet Kevin Lin, the chief operating officer of Twitch, and a few of the founders of Twitch. We had a great sushi dinner together. We were talking about, how awesome Twitch is and where it's going to go and where it should go. And it was good. It was I got to meet all those guys. I've still got Kevin's phone number in my phone, But yeah, I've been around for a while, and thank God I did the Twitch thing, because that got me out of shitty minimum wage jobs and got me a paid full-time salaried position. Not like I'm paid a shitload of money, but enough to put an apartment over my head. So I learned I sort of traded in until we win, and I traded all of that in for learning, having life experience, and having the skill I could sell. And that worked out really well. I'm kind of happy. I'm actually really happy with the way that worked out.
So somebody was asking, did you know a channel awesome guy called Owen Citizen? Someone was asking about that in chat. What your thoughts were?
I know of him, and I know he's not a fan of me. That's all I know. I honestly don't know the guy at all. I wasn't there when he was around. I do know we had a little Twitter spat because the guy's a spurg, but I don't know. I honestly don't know the guy. Like I don't hold anything against him, but I don't know the guy. Like, I have no idea what his videos are about. All I know is that at some point he was tweeting about some dumb shit, and I started tweeting at him because I'm like, hey, stop being a dumb shit. And then he's like, "No, you're the dumb shit." And then I got blocked. So whatever. I literally know nothing about the guy. I know not a damn thing.
Did you see? I don't know if you did see recently that CyberCat. Did you ever know of a contributor called CyberCat? Because she made a video recently where she's left that guy with the glasses, and I think more people are going to be leaving soon.
No, I don't. I don't know. I'm sorry. I I know it's such an exciting answer. No, I have no idea who that is. None. Is she hot? You know, if she's hot, like, hey, yo, let's hook up. No, I seriously don't know who she is, but I wish her the best of luck.
Let's see. I'm just going to take a quick look at chat, see if they've got any questions for me.
Sure. I'm loving it. So this CyberCat person, she left that guy with the glasses. Did she mention why?
Yeah, she put out a video, and basically she was talking about, for one, she doesn't get any views. Like, she says she gets something like 20% of her views there, and she maybe gets like 3,000 views on the average video, so it's nothing. And for another, basically she was sick of like the politics of how they would apparently punish people for like random shit that they didn't even know was a problem. Because apparently they have this way of handling it where they put out information in like a Skype chat and expect people to know it. And I think there was probably some more to it, but that's what she talked about basically.
Yeah, that sounds about the typical channel awesome stuff. That sounds about right. I remember who was it, Obscurus Lupa, who got kicked off the site because he's just, hey, by the way, bye. You missed the Skype chat with us, so you're gone now. Bye. That's how they handle that. Yeah, fuck them. It sounds like the typical channel awesome bullshit. Just the usual nonsense where they try to sell you on this idea that they're all about you and helping you advance, and it's just an excuse to try and keep their page views up. That's all it is.
Did you actually ever watch anyone else's content when you were around?
I
Or
tried to.
yeah,
I tried to, and I pretty much hated all of it, and not because it was so bad. Like all of it was my own. Like I can't even watch Until We Win. It's so bad. Like I don't understand how people like this stuff. To be honest with you, it's you know I don't blame people for liking it because you like what you like, and that's fine. You're you do what you do what you like. But like I would watch this stuff and I would just go, this is so horrible. This is the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life. Doug Walker's stuff is some of the most horrible stuff I've ever seen. It's literally the worst comedy I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible. It's just god awful, and almost all of it on that site is based on Doug's work in some form or another. So I sit there and I would watch Spoony stuff, and I would go, these jokes are horrendous. This is horrible. Why are you doing this? Or I would watch Joe stuff, and he would just get angry at things and get really mad and blah blah blah, and then they would start having skits and shit like that, and I would just go, this is horrendous. Why? Why are you doing any of this? This is horrible. You can't make jokes, and now you're doing skits. Stop, please, God, no, I can't. So I really didn't watch anybody's stuff. The only one stuff I would ever say that I enjoyed was Drew Wario stuff. But because he did the content I liked. He did informative content. He did factual content. He didn't try to be the angry, funny. That because that wasn't him. And it was. I would say I enjoyed his stuff the most. Um, kind of hard to talk about him, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, but other than that, like I just didn't like any of it. It just wasn't very good. None of it's very good. It's, you know, my at least in my opinion, but people like it, so whatever. I can't knock it that much because people actually watch it for some fucking reason. You know, my type of content is, um, you know, like AVE on YouTube, a guy who does tool teardowns. Some Canuck in Vancouver who does tool teardowns, but he's really smart about it because the guy has a couple of PhDs, and he's, you know, he's extremely informative and can teach you how to do things. And he does he has you know, he keeps up a persona as well, because he's not really like the redneck Canuck, backwoods Canuck guy that he portrays in his videos, but he presents his content in such a way that's very engaging and very authentic, and the content is informative. It's not this fake anger bullshit, you know. I watch John's Arcade on YouTube as well, and he does some great stuff, and he teaches in a different way. He teaches people by letting us watch how he fails and how he fixes his failures. And he succeeds too, but you know, he's got this. He's fixing this arcade monitor right now because he's an arcade collector. He's fixing this arcade monitor from a game called Journey, and this monitor, it has been just this. It's been all year. It's just been this nightmare for him, and he's failed to fix it all year. But he still put up those videos. You still see how he's failed to fix it, and by seeing how somebody fails, you learn. Um, you know, I like content like that. The being able to learn, being able to get something out of it, is important to me. That's the content I like, and you know, I don't know if you'll agree, but Channel Awesome's content is nothing even remotely close to that. You know, so
Yeah, I gotta agree there. The whole like riffing and skit stuff is, especially now, is grown. I never liked their like the only people I used to follow was like way back in the day, Spoony and the Cinema Snob, and that was the main two people I followed. That's because I liked video games and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, you know, people like what they like, man. Spoony hit it big, especially with oh God, who was it? Who was it that gave him that exposure? Was it zero? No, it wasn't zero punctuation, was it?
Zero
Might have been zero
Punctuation
punctuation.
mentioned that he liked him, but I didn't. I hadn't heard that he gave him exposure. Maybe he gave him a little bit of exposure for like his riff stuff, but I didn't know that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't know enough about
I
that to
remember.
say. But
I
as
forgot
far,
who it was that gave him a boost.
hmm, I just
But yeah, yeah, I mean, like Spoony stuff is, you know, just it's just not my thing, you know. But people love it; they eat it up. So you know, that's fine. Just, it's just not my content, you know.
yeah, I prefer the informative stuff. I used to do like over a year ago now. I used to make like an informative show on. I used to do like documentary series on video games and stuff like that. But that kind of content is really hard to keep the momentum for, and there seems to be less demand for it than like comedy reaction stuff. But that was my experience of it.
Well, I think it's your, you know, to be honest with you, when people say, "Oh, there's more demand for comedy than perception of
Mm.
things," because there's plenty of content out there that there's plenty of people out there who need informative content. It's not so much should it be comedy, it's how do you present your informative content. You're because informative content is king out there. You just don't seem to see it as much because it's very passive. It's not as engaging as comedic content is. It's not as engaging as you know, say a PewDiePie is. You just don't notice it, but it's out there. It's you're not maybe perhaps you're not going to get the millions and millions of views per video that a PewDiePie gets, but you can get an equal number of views spread out across a lot of different informative content. And it's, you know, it's a different way to approach the content game. It's not the same thing. It's not the same. It's not the same type of business model. And unfortunately, a lot of people on YouTube and just a lot of people on YouTube don't see that. They don't see that it needs to be a different business model. If you're gonna do, if you either need to do the funny thing or you need to do the informative thing. You can't really do both. It doesn't work that well. Um, you when you're doing the informative thing, you need to really be keyword specific and target those long tail keywords. Whereas with the comedy thing, you know, it's all about being a personality. You know, it's completely different. which is why Until We Win, could never work for a long-term project. You know, it didn't really have that big of a personality. It was much more informative than anything else. Yeah, I'd have a quip here and there, but there wasn't anything very personable about it. If you really look back at the videos, they were very much bland compared to quote unquote personalities nowadays.
Talking of that, is there anyone that you follow on YouTube now? Like, have you heard of Red Letter Media, or do you follow anyone like that?
I've heard of Red Letter Media. I've watched a couple of the videos. They do excellent work. Congratulations to them. Love their stuff. I'm glad they kept the skits down to a minimum. But we'd they seem to be really good at what they do. But I don't know them. I don't know them personally. I've never met them, never spoke with them, so I couldn't speak of them very well. But yeah, fucking great videos, man.
So I'm getting
Oh man,
an absolute ton of questions on Spoony, which is not surprising. Do you
that's fine. Let's go.
so it's basically people trying to figure out what made Spoony change from how he used to be like back in 2008 until kind of what made him slope,
What made him go over the edge to
yeah,
where he
pretty
is today?
much.
So I can't speak of that simply because that seems to be more of a medical and personal issue that he has to work out with a therapist and a psychiatrist.
Mm.
Um, but when I knew him, he was he was cool, um, but he was very depressed. Now I look back on it and I can see, yeah, he was very depressed. He was very, very depressed, and he needed help. But back then, being a dumb kid, I just thought, oh, this guy's just a lazy asshole. That's all this guy. He doesn't appreciate. He doesn't appreciate what he has. Now, but now you look back at it and you realize that was a serious sign of depression that nobody caught on to, or if they caught on to it, they really didn't say anything about it to try and get him help, which is really sad when you think about it. What was the impetus for his decline the way he has? A lot of that is just social perception of what he is right now.
Mm.
A lot of people want him to be the funny Spoony that made the Ultimate videos or the SWAT videos. They want him to be that, and looking at his stuff now, it doesn't look like, or it doesn't seem to me that he wants to do that. And so you have this perception that he's not doing what they want, what people want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes off as this guy, this unhinged, lazy guy. In the long term, I think really what's up with Spoony is that it's frustration with his fans that he like, where they want one thing, want to do that thing. He wants to move on to somewhere else, but he can't. He's either in some sort of denial about something in his life, or he's depressed, or what, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I can't even speak to what the cause is, or what the impetus was. But somewhere along the line, at least in my perception of it, is that he lost interest in being the Spoony one and wants to be Noah Antweiler now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that I blame him. Like, good, go be Noah. But my only advice to him is, if you're gonna kill Spoony one and be Noah, kill Spoony and be Noah. Like, end it. And the Patreon. Go move on with your life. Don't just sit there and leech off of things and not do anything. But again, I can't speak to that. I can't say that that's exactly it, because I don't know his life. I don't know what's going on in his head. I can't say anything about that. Who knows? Maybe he really does want to, and he's just severely depressed, and he's trying to battle through it, and he just can't, find the will to move forward. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I really, truly don't know. I wish him the best. I really do, because that's a shitty situation to be in. But it's it sucks. You know, it's a situation that sucks for his fans, especially the people that continue to support him, that continue to give him money for. I don't know why. I'm a very logical person when it comes to that stuff, and yeah, I can see that he's depressed. Yeah, I can see that he's going through tough changes in his life, but as a logical person, I could not validate continuing to give him money, especially for the absolute dearth of content he's put out. But you do have to remember there is that perception of him that people have, and that he's in this decline, that he's, you know, in this miserable hole, and that perception can be shifted, can be changed by certain things. People like me who have gone on to shows and decried what he's doing. People like Mr.
Metacore, we're
however the fuck
talking.
you pronounce his
Yeah,
name, Metacore. There you go. Um, you know, doing his video on Spoony and the slow decline of the Spoony one. Um, that's all perception that is built. That's all content that has built perception of who Spoony is, um, and that can change dramatically if if he chooses to change it. You know, so who knows? I don't. You know, I don't know when. I don't know what the impetus was. I just know that you know, I just know that he's not the same person he was in 2008. So, hey, I hope he's better off for it. I hope he's happier. That's really the main goal there. But as far as returning to the old Spoony style, as far as, you know, as far as returning to those video reviews, is that going to happen anytime soon? Personally, I don't think so. But maybe he'll turn around. Maybe he'll turn around and do that. Who knows? Who knows?
yeah. I wonder if I don't think he's going to return to doing that stuff because it's been so long. It's been like 5 6 months since he did his last live stream. I just assume at this point, is my personal theory, that he's just letting the Patreon go for as long as people will still pay him, maybe in the hopes that he's going to come back. I don't know.
Well, how much is he making now a month on his Patreon? Do you know?
Last time I checked, he was making something like $680. He seems to stick around there. He's probably around the $600-700 mark, which is a lot of money considering all he does is tweet.
Yeah, considering he doesn't do anything. I,
yeah.
you know, I hope, you know, I hope he has a job. I hope he has a job and can support himself. That's all I can say. You know, I mean, you just hope he doesn't become a statistic. That's all. And boy, listen, if you're a fan of his work, enjoy what you had. Go back and enjoy it, but don't kill yourself. Don't destroy yourself over never having his content again. Because that's not, you know, just I don't see it happening. Just enjoy what you had. It was a good run. Congratulate, enjoy it.
Yeah, so getting back to Channel Awesome, do you have like any theories as to what like Doug's end goal with the whole site is? Because as far as I know, he's losing views pretty much all the time.
All right. So here's I'm sure a lot of people already know this, especially if you've listened to my podcast. But
Mm.
Doug's end goal is to use Channel Awesome to break into Hollywood. He views himself as a an independent Hollywood director and producer who can show Hollywood the true vision of his art. Um, that's the end goal with Channel Awesome is for Doug to be an artist, I guess. To be he views himself as competition with Hollywood. Um, and that's the saddest, most disillusioned reality I've ever had to explain to someone in my life. It's so sad to to sit here and realize that that's how absolutely disillusioned the Walker brothers were. It's it's almost sickening. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what they think. That's what they thought they were going to be. They thought they were going to reinvent things completely. Um, Maybe they bought into Blip talking to them about how Blip was going to reinvent things, or maybe they bought into their own bullshit. I don't know. All I know is that reality and their own perceptions clashed very heavily. And they honestly thought like demo reel. I remember, I remember the back channel stories about demo reel, where where Doug thought this was such a brilliant idea and it was going to be so amazing, it was going to revolutionize the world, that they were going to get invited to red carpet events in Hollywood. That's how absolutely disillusioned they were with
Wow.
demo reel, and how absolutely crushed they were when it flopped so hard because it was a piece of shit. You know, it's just that's what they thought. That's what they think of themselves. They're very high on themselves. They think of themselves very highly. Um, you know, I mean, hey, listen, I'm not that type of person. And I kind of wish, in some respects, that I was a bit more, um, a bit more. God, what's the word I'm looking for? Self assured. I'm really not like that. I'm a very self conscious person. I'm almost in a way self defeating. In my own personality, I kind of wish I was a little more like that, but not to the extent that I thought I would be invited to Hollywood events because I did a fucking YouTube video. You know.
So, Hikiku Mori Media is asking, was Melvin, brother of the Joker, key to all of this?
I if anybody comes up to me and sings the Melvin brother of the Joker song to me, I'll stab them multiple times. Don't don't I hate that so much. No, was he key to all of this? No, I don't. I hate Melvin. I hate Santa Christ. I hate those characters so much. They are the dumbest things that humanity has ever shat out. No, I lie. Humanity shat out dumber things, which is sad. But it's just, I sit there, I shake my head, and I go, "This is terrible. This is awful. Why? Why must you remind me of Melvin? Why?" You little bastard.
So, somebody asked, what happened to Rachel Tiers? I don't know if you'd know anything about this after she left Channel Awesome.
Rachel who?
Rachel Tiers,
Nah, I
I
don't
think
know.
she
No,
was on
I know
Demo
nothing
Reel.
about this, sir. Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That Rachel. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. you want you want to talk about people I don't know anything about? There's someone who's on demo reel and then left. Yeah. I.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about something that came after my was a thing I cared nothing about, only because the only reason I even looked at it was because people told me how bad it was. Um, yeah, I don't know anything about her. I'm sorry. Yeah, all of my information is either so old or it's all third party that I just sort of shrug my shoulders and go, okay, well, I can tell you demo reel sucked. I don't know about Rachel leaving Channel Awesome at all. I didn't even know who Rachel was. I apologize. Oh man, yeah, I just I'm a lot like you guys. I hear things third party. I just happen to have some connections who are willing to leak me information every now and again, and I either act on it or I just leave it there. Um, I'm not particularly, you know, I know this is hard for people to hear, but I'm not particularly invested or interested in Channel Awesome. Um, I just, I do my thing, um, and I'm happy with my thing, which I think is way more important than anything people like to try and mock me for. Like, oh, you threw until we went away, you're not as popular. Oh, look at you, you only get 1,000 views on YouTube on your podcast. I don't care about that though. Like, I, if I wanted to be popular, I would do popular things. I would YouTube videos. I would do if I wanted to live that life. I would go out of my way to make the comedic reviews. Um, but I don't want to do that. That doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is pursuing my interests, and if that's not popular, then oh well. Um, if not talking about Channel Awesome all the time doesn't get me views, if ignoring Channel Awesome doesn't make me popular, I'm okay with that because Channel Awesome doesn't make me happy. I get very frustrated talking about them. I get extremely frustrated talking about them sometimes, and it's nothing. And it's not like your fault or anyone else's fault. It's just, I think about the wasted time. I think about the effort, the wasted effort, and it gets me very angry. And it's just not, it's just not a time I want to really spend my life on. I talk about it, no problem, but I don't want people to ask if I ever thought about like going back. And I can tell you absolutely not. I refuse to. I will never do that ever in my life. I would honestly rather drive my car into a light pole at 90 miles an hour than ever do that again. That was miserable, and I would not, in any way, shape, or form, want to do it again. So yeah, there you go. I'm sorry I don't know anything about Rachel. I'm glad I got off on that little tangent.
So what was it?
Oh man.
Let me just take a quick look at chat.
Sure.
So somebody was asking. People are obsessed with Spoony. No idea why. Someone was asking.
Dude, listen, if they want to ask questions about Spoony, I'm all for it, man.
They're saying that you did a UWW video on Bayou Billy, and allegedly Spoony was mad at you because he did a review on it, and you made it look easy. Is this true?
I'm. Are you talking about? You're talking about Bayou Billy that I allegedly made easy, right?
Yeah.
About Bayou Billy and how easy that was. To be fair, I didn't. So when I made the Bayou, when I make Until We Win, if it's not, I'm not trying to do anything but show you factually how I did something. So, for example, the bosses. This is really the big thing. It's the bosses. When people complain about the bosses, like, oh, all you have to do is this or that. And on Bayou Billy, what you have to do is to make it easier for yourself, you have to attack diagonally because the AI is not built in a way where diagonal attacks make sense to them. I took advantage of that, and a lot of people complained that I made it look easy. Yeah, easy because I had practiced that over and over and over again. And it was, it was a good, I want to say it was a good week of playing that game straight, reloading different save states and replaying levels and capturing more footage and replaying bosses over and over and over again till I fucking puked. Yeah, I made it look easy because I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of effort into it. But once I figured out how the whole diagonal attack thing worked, that game became so much easier than what it actually was, to me at least. But you need a lot of practice to do that. I didn't intentionally do that to make fun of Spoony. That wasn't was to show people, hey, I figured this out. Now you do it too. It'll take some practice, but you can do it. The thing about Spoony was that for my content, at least for Until We Win, he never entered into my mind. Other content creators were never in my mind at the time. The only time they would ever enter into my mind was like if I did like if I did something, Jew Warrior did Jew Warrior did a review on, I would mention it, or I would have him on the video or something like that. I never did things to make fun of people. I never did Until We Win to make fun of other people to throw shade at them. That was never Until We Win's purpose. That's the purpose of Drop Dead Cynical. That was the purpose of LordKat Live. But the purpose of Until We Win was never to throw shade at people, to subtly throw shade at people. And I know I got a lot of accusations of that back in the day, that I was subtly, making fun of people with Until We Win. That's not the case at all. I never spent time doing that. Because you have to remember how Until We Win worked. It was, I have a week to put out a video. So I have to take these stupid hard games, I have to beat them, I have to capture the footage, and in a lot of cases, I'd have to go back with my multiple save states and recapture footage over and over and over again, just so I could have enough footage to fucking fill time. Then I would write the script. Then I would shoot the script. I would record the voiceovers, and then I'd cut it all together in a week. one guy, and then I'd get like $2,000 every couple of months for it because of the ad revenue. I wasn't throwing shade at people. I didn't have time to throw shade at people. I didn't have time to think of jokes. It was here's how I did it. Here's all the stuff, and please enjoy the video. And then so when people throw complaints about Until We Win, I just go, I understand. I understand where they were coming from when they complain about Until We Win, and the quite frankly low shit quality of the videos. I'd understand where they were coming from, but too bad. It's way too much time and effort to make that shit. So tough shit, bro. That's what you get. You're not paying for it. I don't care. Sorry. Bye. But no, I've never intentionally threw shade at somebody like that. It would, if I was throwing shade at someone, it'd be much more overt. And I think I've done that a couple of times on Until We Win, but it's me actually saying it, not saying, "Oh, this game's easier than you think." That's not shade. That's just me figuring out how to play the game much better than I used to.
So, do you keep in touch with anyone from Channel Awesome still, or is that just like a past chapter of your life at this point?
Let me think about this one carefully because I want to make sure I don't fuck this up. But no, I don't keep in touch with anyone from Channel Awesome at all. I haven't spoken. The last person from Channel Awesome I actually spoke to. Well, no, that's not true. I still keep in touch with Holly Brown, who's a pretty cool chick. I keep in touch with her, but the last person I really spoke to was Skitch, and that was months and months and months ago after I pulled my little goodbye hello stunt on my podcast.
Right, I saw that.
I spent 15. Dude, that I still think that was hilarious, but people disagree with me on that, so whatever.
When I saw, I thought that was genuinely the end of it when I saw it. That was like 2 years ago, was it? Feels like a long time ago.
It feels like a long time ago, but I think it was actually last year.
Wow.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't remember. I don't care. Whatever. I thought it was funny. I did it. Whatever. Gives a shit. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I thought it was I thought it was a great prank. And then people took it so seriously. And the reason people took it so seriously is because, again, I mixed in reality with a character. So the reality was the perception people had of me at the time, which was, oh, this is a man who's just made a mistake and he just needs to admit to his mistakes and move on. And then everything will be fine. So I took that perception and I mixed that in with a character, an asshole, very big asshole. And I made, an episode about how I can't take it anymore and had a mental breakdown. And I stopped doing it. And then I came back and people were absolutely livid, is the best way I can put it. And it was the funniest thing I've ever done in my life. Just to see people, manipulated to a point where they're challenged with their own perceptions of reality. That's funny in a way. Just the reactions were funny. And they were totally fucking worth it. Because most of the people that left were people that I was never invested in. So, okay, bye. Don't care. See you around. You're mad at me? Okay, I pranked you. Ooh. Would you prefer I egged your house? I mean, come on. Let's be real. It's the internet. I got better shit to do. So some people were just really fucking livid with that, and hey, whatever. You know what? They're gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad, but they ended up being content for the show, and it was really funny to me. It was just the challenging people's perception of me, and then having their, seeing their reactions to having their perception of reality utterly destroyed was pretty golden, to be honest with you. There's some golden content. Not that some people who were, genuinely upset over what happened, not that that's a good thing,
mm-hmm.
but that's more collateral damage than anything else. But people who got angry over it, like legitimately angry, because I had one person tell me, oh, I thought you were a different person from this. I thought you had turned over a new leaf. I thought things were going to get better for you, but you just keep destroying yourself. Okay, if you insist, uh, you know, it's just things like that that make me that sort of make me laugh a little bit. Like, wow, really, this is really what you thought? You thought your reality mattered so much that it would impact my life, and it doesn't. And it's that disconnect that is really fascinating to me, but also hilarious at times. So that's what the goodbye hello thing was about. But hey.
Let's see. I don't actually have much left to ask because I think we might. I don't want to go over like
Okay.
stuff we've talked about before, but is there anything that you wanted to bring up while you're here?
Anything I want to bring up? Listen to Drop Dead Cynical on Twitch, twitch.tv/LordKat, every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. um, no, I really don't have much I want to bring up. You know, I do my own thing, and that's who I've always been. Is I do my own thing. The reason I started Until We Win all those years ago was because I do my own thing. It was because I got interested in how to film. So I picked up a cheap camera that had it was a cheap camera. It was a hard drive camera. I forgot exactly which hard drive camera it was, but it had a 50x zoom, and that was the reason I got the camera. Was because of the 50x zoom. I really found that interesting. I wanted to see, what a 50x zoom could record. And turns out it was a fascinating thing. I would set up the camera, at the end of a dead end street, and then I would look down the street and I would see, blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks away. And it was fascinating to me that you could do that. But then, then I started to think, well, what the fuck else am I going to do with this camera? And so I thought, well, I want to edit video. What if I put a video series together? Okay, so what's a cool video series I could do? Well, I like playing hard games and I can beat them, and people think I'm good at that. So why don't I do that? So I put Until We Win together because I wanted to, and then I didn't do it anymore. And that's I had fun with it for a while, and then I didn't have fun with it, so I stopped doing it. Um, I have fun with my podcasts, and when they're not fun anymore, I'll stop doing them. Unless unless we somehow manage to turn them into something popular and profitable, then in which case, hey, I'll be glad to run a business. Sure, let's do that. But I do what's fun. And if it's fun to me, I'll do it, and I don't really give a shit if it's fun to someone else or someone else likes it. If you like it, come along for the ride. That's great. And if you don't like it, bye. I'm not changing what I do, what's fun to me, to make it fun for you. You know. And that's an attitude that a lot of people don't like. A lot of people can't relate to. Um, they think that since you're a content creator, you should cater to them. And to if I wanted to cater to them, I would, but I don't want to cater to them. I don't want to run the rat race. I don't want to end up being that person that has to cater to a political point of view, which a lot of people at That Guy with the Glasses channel also did. They cater to a political point of view. They bend over backwards to have a leftist slant in a lot of what they do. Not just their videos. Their videos can be non-political, but in their public persona, in their public appearance. A lot of people are like that, where they will take this extremist hardcore slant in their public persona, and in real life they're nothing like that. But it's because it's what people want to see. It's because that validates other people's opinions of themselves and of their own political beliefs, and so that that ends up being a very powerful way to control a brand.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, it's very dishonest. It's a very dishonest way to approach things. So I don't approach it that way. I may, yeah, there's a persona there on the show, but if you talk to me, you'll get me. If you're talking to me on Twitter or on Facebook, you'll get me. You're not going to get a persona. And I'm not going to bend to some sort of extreme rhetoric just so I can make people happy. If you want me to validate your political beliefs, then you're looking at the wrong person. If you want me to validate your worldview, you're looking at the wrong person. I'm not here to validate you. And that's what a lot of content creators are to a lot of people. They're a form of validation for themselves and for their lifestyle. I'm not here to validate you. I'm here to tear down your perception of reality and show you that life is far more complicated than you ever give it credit for. Um, that's really what my sort of mission statement in life is to help people understand that life is way more complicated than just a yes no question. It's not a question of is gun control good or bad. It's, well, what situation do we need a weapon in? You know, that's really where my thought process lies. Some people say that makes me insane. Other people say that makes me psychotic. Um, and they're welcome to their opinions, but they're wrong and fuck them.
So, uh, are you saying that Channel Awesome has put out a certain political position as marketing, or do you think there's anything genuine? Because it didn't appear to be anything like this in the early days, from my point of view, but obviously I don't know.
I think it's both. I want see. I want to say it's marketing, but at the same time, knowing the guys at Channel Awesome, it's not marketing. It's what they think. Uh, I want to give them more credit as businessmen than they deserve, and I can't. It's definitely what they think politically. In the early days, back when I was there, it was actually a lot more political than you know. There was very much a sharp left slant at Channel Awesome. Um,
Mm.
and you had to agree with that sharp left slant, or otherwise you were ostracized and sort of pushed aside and forgotten about. You had to, and it's not like they were trying to be politically manipulative. It was more of that. Oh, we're more comfortable with you if you share the same opinions we do. That's
Mm.
really what it comes down to. Is how you network with them, and they use politics as a means of networking. I remember back in the day, gun control. You had to be vehemently anti-gun. You had to be 100% pro gun control. If you weren't, you were the weird guy. You were the guy who was going to get an Uzi and open up fire in a crowded hotel room. That's what you were labeled as, because that's how they view the world. And that politics eventually bubbled up and creeped out into their public facing content, but it was always there. It just wasn't in their content at the time.
That's interesting. I always just, as far as I could see, it seems like in the early days there was like a push pull between like having jokes were just openly offensive, quote unquote, and then it just seemed from like looking at it from the outside, it just seemed like 2012 when Spoony's Twitter meltdown happened. That was the first time I realized there was something political going on behind the scenes. I didn't know before then that anything was going on.
Um, yeah, for me, it was always that way. It was always a political, tug of war, where you're either on the right side of history according to them, or you were wrong. So for me, it was always that way. I never really saw a difference. You had to be, if you wanted to be part of the clique, you had to think a certain way. Just how it was, man. You know, um, is that right? No. Is that how a business should be run? No. Is that what they did? Eh, I don't want to say consciously. I don't think they did it consciously. It was a very subconscious thing they did. But they did it, and they just never saw it. And political stuff eventually just bubbles up and boils over. Happens when you don't take care of it. When you don't manage a business like you're managing a business, shit like that happens.
I got a question asking if you had what your thoughts were on the Amazing Atheist back when he was on the site. I don't know if you paid attention to him or not.
the, the amazing atheist story is the most amazing thing ever. So the Amazing Atheist story goes like this: Hey guys, we're getting the Amazing Atheist on the website. Oh, that's cool. Um, oh, hey, wait a minute. He has political opinions that don't mesh with us. Oh, oh, that's not good. We're gonna spread rumors behind the scenes about him. Oh, oh, look at that. We have a video of him shoving a banana up his ass. Oh, we're gonna make fun of him from that behind the scenes. Oh, we're gonna ostracize him. The dude was ostracized from the site from day one because of his political point of view, and it was. I never knew the guy. I never met him. I never spoke with him. Um, I seems like an all right guy. I mean, he's got his opinions about life and how life should be lived, and good for him. But I feel like he sort of got the shit end of the stick when he was there because of who he was and because of the opinions he had in his life. I really feel like because that's basically what happened was behind the scenes we were told what to think of him. We were told to not talk to this guy anymore. We were told to ignore this guy. The guy's a little nuts. The guy shoved the banana up his ass. We shouldn't be associated with him. It's bad news for us. That's what we were told. That what would be best for us. Which years later you look back on that and you realize that they were just him for whatever reason. I don't particularly know, but he's Amazing Atheist has gone on to bigger and better things, and God bless him. Which I say in all irony. um, but yeah, that's the Amazing Atheist story, and I don't know the guy at all. I never spoke with him. I never had an email with him. I think he knows I was on that guy with the glasses at the same time he was around, and that's pretty much the extent of my interactions with him. But the story's just an amazing one. Wherein, oh hey, this really popular guy's coming to the site. Oh, that's cool. Oh hey, turns out this really popular guy doesn't share our opinions, so watch out for him. He's a little weird. Oh, he's a little weird. Why is he weird? Well, he shoved a banana up his ass. Ew, he shoved a banana up his ass. What a weird guy. Why would he do that? And just little snippety rumors like that, and then eventually he just got pushed off the site. I honestly don't know what the hell that was about. Part of me legitimately thinks they tried to ruin his YouTube career. I think part of me thinks they tried to ruin him, but it ended up working in his favor, which was great for him. But I never understood what that was about. It was like he's on the site, he's weird, he shoves bananas up his ass, he's off the site. It was so fucking weird. Like I didn't know what the hell happened. It's just all right, cool, I guess. Godspeed, Amazing Atheist. Oh man, yeah, the Amazing Atheist, man, that was so weird. He came and left. He touched us with his banana goodness. Just
So you mentioned how you were using the videos in order to get better at editing. Is there anything like positive that you got out of your time with Channel Awesome, or was it something?
I got several positive things out of my time at Channel Awesome. Not necessarily Channel Awesome itself. My investment in Channel Awesome, which was my time and effort, not necessarily money, never really paid off. But the work I did because of Channel Awesome paid off. So my video editing skills have been put to use over the years. I started a small video production company out here in New York City that would film and cut together just local stand-up comedians videos. And I did that for a while to help support myself. I also because of Channel Awesome, because people knew me. I don't want to say because of channels, because people saw me and saw my videos. I got in touch with Horror, who put me in touch with Twitch or Justin TV at the time, because I was doing a lot of live streaming, and I had been in the live streaming world before, and so I got back into live streaming because of that. So that connection happened. Other than that, the other connections I've had have not come from Channel Awesome, and that's really it. I've my live streaming career, quote unquote, was a connection that because people knew me from Channel Awesome, because people knew me from Until We Win. My and my video editing happened because of Channel Awesome, because of Until We Win. But beyond that, like the more I think about it, I casually sort of know acquaintances because of Channel Awesome. I know of Iron Liz. She's a sweetheart, and I'm glad she is where she is in her life. And I know of her because of Channel Awesome. And that's it. You know, I know of Skitch, Michael Skitchiano, because of Channel Awesome. Although we haven't spoken in months or years, actually, because he's really upset at me because of that goodbye hello stunt. I know of Holly Brown because of Channel Awesome. She's cool. And I know of a lot of people who are my fans because of Channel Awesome and who have followed me through the years, which I really appreciate. But not a whole lot came out of my investment from it. You know, I have a career now, which is great, but my career was my investment in myself. That was my investment in live streaming, and I tried to, dude. I fought tooth and nail to get these motherfuckers to do live streaming, because I was adamant that this was the future, and instead of having me help them do live streaming, they fucking have Bargov do it. Like some dude who has no business on a fucking computer, they have Bargov run their fucking live streams for them. And it turns out to be giant pieces of shit that nobody likes. Why? Well, because you have people who aren't interested and invested in live streaming. So that was another one of those things that sort of pissed me the fuck off. Was if you remember back in the day, they did their live stream telethons, I guess.
Yeah, well, they like charity
charity
streams. Yeah,
things.
I remember those.
Mm-hmm. And they had Bargo running them. And behind the scenes, you know, nobody really ever heard about this, but I was pushing for me to run them very hard because I wanted to. Bargo didn't. He was just like, oh, I can do this, whatever. I was just like, dude, I can not only do this, I can make this better. I can make this cool. You know, we have connections at Justin now. We can do that. But they didn't want to do that. They were adamant about using Bargo and using doing their method and doing their thing. So fine, fuck them. I went off and did my own thing, and I learned how to do a lot of different fucking things. I've since learned, you know, not just streaming, but I know how to run streaming services. I've used Mist Server, Red 5, Wowza. I've run all that fun shit on various operating systems and various backends. I've learned AWS by extension. I've learned AWS because of it, but all of that stuff I've done on my own. So people want to credit, this is another thing I get all the time. People want to credit Channel Awesome for a lot of the things that I have in my life. They're wrong. I fought Channel Awesome on a lot of things. I don't have a lot of things in my life because of Channel Awesome. I have a lot of things in my life because I invested time in myself and in the things I find interesting, and I moved on from there. I would say I owe more to me and Kevin Lynn and Justin Kahn and all those guys in horror as well. Way more. I owe them way more than I ever owe anything to the people at Channel Awesome. Because without them, I wouldn't have been cultivated to have the interest in live streaming that I had, and I wouldn't have cultivated the knowledge that I have, and I wouldn't have dug deeper into the industry that I have, and I wouldn't worked at a live streaming company that I work at now. I wouldn't have done all of that without Twitch, and you know, to a certain extent, I wouldn't have done all of that without Channel also being a bunch of fucking assholes and saying no, we want to stream this way, and I'm just like, dude, nobody cares about it, so. I guess I owe them thanks for, you know, being a bunch of dickheads. So there you go. But I mean, obviously the video editing thing and, you know, pushing me away and going to live streaming was partially their fault. You know, I wouldn't say it was their, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's to their credit. I would say it's their fault to a certain degree, but I was going to go in that direction anyway. So yeah.
Well, so I haven't seen your most recent video, but you switched your name over to Drop Dead Cynical. That was quite recently. Why do you decide to do that?
I've been getting away from the LordKat name for a very long time. I've been trying to kill it off. Actually, it's just not my thing. I'm not LordKat. I want to. it's it kind of itches. It kind of bothers me, the name. It seems, I don't know how to put it. It seems lame, you know?
Mm.
It's just it's just like it's a nickname. Oh, it's cute. Well, my name's Jason, actually, and it's not LordKat. Stop calling me that, please. And LordKat has a lot of connotations with it, but it has mostly, that guy with the glasses and until we win connotations as well. And I don't do that anymore. Now, I also don't call the show LordKat Live anymore. I call it Drop Dead Cynical because I think Drop Dead Cynical is a fucking awesome name compared to LordKat Live, man. Are you kidding me? For what we do on the show, I think Drop Dead Cynical is a fantastic name for what we do on the show. That name came to me while I was walking to fucking Subway, and I was like, that's a great name, because we were playing around with the idea of rebranding anyway. And part of the reason to rebrand is because the show's not about me. I'm a host on the show, and I keep the show going. And my skill set in terms of hosting a podcast and hosting a show is being able to move the show forward and keep the content flowing. I can move from A to B to C, and I can keep people moving from A to B to C and keep people on topic, generally on topic. But I have a lot of other people on the show. I've got Adam, Matt, Dan shows up once in a while, Tim shows up once in a while, Jeff tries to show up every week, but his work schedule. There's a lot of people on the show. The show's not about me. The show's about the content we as a group put together. So what's the content that we as a group put together? Well, it's very cynical. And then, 4 out of 5 of us are dying, so it's Drop Dead Cynical. It's a brilliant fucking name. I love it. And everybody else loved it too. We've got this great title card done by Jeg Simmons. We've had a couple of title cards submitted, but Jeg's title card is the keeper so far. It hasn't been knocked off the pedestal yet. So we rebranded the Drop Dead Cynical, and building out a website, which is being hosted on AWS. It's not up yet. I'm still waiting for Matt's butthole to get fixed up, so we can have the pictures there for people to look at. But once that's done, once his butthole is nice and drained and packed, we'll have those pictures up for people, and then we'll launch the Drop Dead Cynical website. And that's where I'm taking it. Because it's way catchier too to say, hey, come watch Drop Dead Cynical with me. Come listen to Drop Dead Cynical, instead of saying, hey, you want to see this LordKat Live thing? I think Drop Dead Cynical is way easier to plunk into a conversation than LordKat Live is too. Especially for the average person. The average person can be like, oh, did you listen to that Drop Dead Cynical? What a funny show. Or did you listen to that LordKat Live? And you say LordKat in a regular conversation, people look at you like you've got fucking bugs crawling out of your ears, it's a weird name, man. It's just not very catchy. If you have to be in that whole, you kind of have to be in that whole internet culture thing to even think that that's kind of a cool name. And I want to focus outside of that internet culture. I want to draw those people outside the internet culture in, and see if I can get them interested.
So, have you got any particular plans for the site, or is it just going to host content? What's kind of the purpose of the site?
The site is ultimately going to be an archive of the Drop Dead Cynical content, but it's also going to serve as the front end for private content for our Patreon and Twitch subscribers. So it's going to be where you go to get your fix of your weekly behind the scenes banter. So instead of me posting a private video on YouTube, I'll be posting it on that site instead, and that will instead be the place you go to, instead of me having to fucking post on both Twitch and on Patreon, say, hey guys, this video's up, go check it out. I can just post it there, and you can go check it every Wednesday. So you can get your pre and post show banter content banter that's uploaded there for you, and other other perks as well. Really the purpose of the website is to be that sort of that driving force behind getting you the extra content that we promised you.
That's interesting. So when are you thinking of launching that? Is that going to be soon, or what's the deal?
If it's gonna be, it's at least another month away. probably launch in August with the website. Right now we're getting everybody the content we promised them. It's just it's a pain in the ass for me because I have to make it an unlisted video on YouTube, and then I got to send the link out to people, and then people don't get the link, and then they complain about it, and so really what I just want is a site that I can go to. Here it is. You can go to this site, and there. That way, there's just one central location for it, and I don't have to fucking deal with it, you know.
This is was this dealing with putting it out on Patreon and stuff like that? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, deal with the hassle of putting it out on Patreon, getting the Twitch subscribers, information on getting any Twitch subscriber any information on anything's a fucking hassle to begin with. So if I can just have, hey, if you're a Twitch subscriber, here you go, or hey, you're a Patreon subscriber, go to this site, and then you can go to this, you can go to this directory or this subdomain or whatever, and this is where all your extras will be, and I don't have to keep sending you a message every week. We'll post them every Wednesday or every Thursday, and you can get your extras there. That way, and then the extras eventually go live on our public YouTube anyway. So it's not like it's some sort of exclusive deal. You just get the content earlier. Because I am kind of adamant about that you don't get exclusive content, you just get early access. Because I hate it when, I don't know about you, but I hate it when people do that, when they just say, oh, this is exclusive content, you can only get it if you give me money.
Yeah, I'm not keen on that.
I hate that shit. So it's early access is what it is, but gotta try to get a dime somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea about the site is just to make it easier for me, so I don't have to like kill myself trying to do customer support for people, which is the most pain in the ass thing ever. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is I don't want to answer these emails and say, hey, how come I can't view the video? Where's the video? I didn't see the link, and I don't want to deal with that. I just want to say the link's here, go get it. That's anything to. I'm a very lazy person on the inside, and so anything to automate every manual process in my life, I will do.
Yeah, that sounds really appealing. I even managing more than one YouTube channel is a pain in the ass to me, and I don't even have to do that much for it. So.
Yeah, it's still a pain in the ass though. It's just it's tedious and annoying is what it comes down to, and tedium and being annoyed take a toll on you.
Yeah,
people don't realize that. It's just like, oh, it's so simple. Yeah, it's simple, but it's tedious. And being tedious means being annoyed, and being annoyed means being stressed, and being stressed is not good for you. It makes it not fun. So it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about making it easier and making it fun. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah. I got a question from chat earlier. Someone was asking what your favorite video games were. Do you still play games these days?
Oh yeah, I still play video games. Right now I'm playing Black Desert Online. I've fallen in love with that MMO. I fell in love with that recently. So it was on Steam Summer Sale for like $8. So I was like, I'll get it, fuck it, and been playing it all week, man. Love it. I still play video games. I don't play console games. I played Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me look at my Steam list right now. See what the hell I got going on. I bought a Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, which was the most disappointing $15 I've spent this year.
What is that? I haven't heard of that one.
The indie version of UEBS, Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, was really cool, and it was like this. It's this battle simulator, basically. It's open field battle simulator where you could take these units from different eras or different ideas. Like you could take farmers and peasants versus catapults and cavalry, and say, okay, go to war, and it would simulate a 3D battle between the two. Archers, things like that, and the indie version was really, really cool, and then the Steam version came out, and it was very less cool. It was remade in Unreal, I believe, and it's just it's lacking something. It's lacking some sort of charm that the original indie version had. And it needs a few updates. It has bugs that need to be sorted out. A lot of bugs that need to be sorted out. So I would say it's probably the most. I think it's the most disappointing game of 2015. 2015. What am I saying? 2017 so far. It's disappointing on the scale of Rust is, but Rust was much more widespread disappointment.
So,
I also, I've played Fallout 4. I've got Civ 6. I played Shell Shock Live, and and Black Desert Online. Those are all my recently played on Steam.
all right. So no massive sprees on the Steam sale or anything.
Nah, a game, even if it's on sale, a game really has to say something to me. Oh, Factorio too is another one I've been playing a shitload of. What a fucking awesome game that is.
Right.
Um, Just Cause 3 as well. I've played that. But no, nothing, when it comes to Steam sales for me, the game really has to be something I'm interested in to buy it. And not just, oh, I'm kind of sort of interested in it and it's only $10, let me get it. Nah, I don't play like that. I've got to actually be legitimately interested in the game. To drop money on it even if it's on sale. But yeah, so I don't do like Steam sale buying sprees or anything like that. No.
Yeah, I ended up picking up a few games recently, and I just come to the realization that I'm probably going to play a few hours of some of these games and then never finish them. I just don't have
Yeah,
the time.
what's what happens? You play a couple hours and you're just like, okay, thanks. Game kind of is actually boring. I don't. Why did I give you money?
Yep.
That's Steam sale in a nutshell. I just, even AAA titles to a certain degree, I don't like. It really depends on the title. It's got to be something I'm really into. Like the next, like say the next Elder Scrolls comes out, and I'm probably gonna skip it. To be quite frank, I'm gonna
Hmm.
wait till it's on sale or it drops in price because, I loved Morrowind, but they've moved away from Morrowind so much with the recent Elder Scrolls, especially Skyrim, that I'm very quickly losing interest in the series. Absolutely loved Morrowind. I loved how open it was. I loved all of the weird things you can do in the game world. Absolutely adored that. And then they moved further and further away from that, and now it's a very consoleized, very structured video game. And to me, that's not an open world sandbox game. That's just a time sink. You know, and if they moved more towards a Morrowind style of game again, I would be interested in it. But I'm sort of avoid. I'm think I'm going to avoid that until it comes down in price. That's why I did the same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 4 pissed me off. I couldn't. I hated that game so much. That
I
was that was
I
a
was
terrible game. So
yeah, I was disappointed with that when I
that
got
was
it
that
back in
for,
the
for the
day.
price. Dude, what you for the price and what you got was not worth it. It was just not worth it. It was
Yeah.
such a bad game. To me it was. And so when 5 came out, I avoided the shit out of it. And then I got my job here at the new company, and a couple of guys played it there and like, dude, you have to pick it up. It's such a great game. How come you've never played it? I'm like, all right. So I picked it up on sale for like $12. And I was like, oh my shit, that's fucking great. I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad I did this. I got Grand. I'm kind of hoping I have the same experience with the Elder Scrolls, because Skyrim, I had fun with it to a point, but I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm gonna skip the next one. I'm gonna wait and see what it's all about first, and I'm gonna let everyone else get angry at it before I invest money in it and get angry at it.
uh,
Unless it's like something killer and people are like, dude, you have to play this game. I'm just gonna skip that.
yeah. I gotta say, so it's just PC you play. You don't play anything console at all anymore.
I mean, I have my ROM collections. I do play arcade games on MAME. I play NES, SNES games when I feel like it. But in terms of consoles, nah, I don't play them. I have a Switch. I play that for Zelda, and I'm waiting for Mario to come out. And that's pretty much the only two games I'm going to play on Switch. I'm really not interested too much in it. I'm interested in the fact that it is a portable game console you know, um, that is kind of what I thought an NVIDIA Shield should have been.
Right.
And it is basically an NVIDIA Shield. It's a souped up NVIDIA Shield, right? Um, but the dearth of gaming on it right now it's the fucking Achilles heel of every Nintendo console. And I'm just waiting for more indie games to come out on it. I'll probably buy some in the eShop when they're out. But right now it's just doing Legend of Zelda DLC. It's basically my Legend of Zelda console.
Right. Have you got any plans to pick up the Resident Evil 7? Have you looked at that at all?
I haven't looked at. I've never been a Resident Evil fan.
Really?
It was never my style. Yeah, it was never my style of game. The old Resident Evil games. Was it Resident Evil 5? I think with the was that the one in like Africa or something
Yeah,
like
that
that?
was 5. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the Pocket Kool-Aid guys. Um, yeah, just not my style of game. I just don't like. I don't like the earlier Resident Evils. I don't like the Resident Evils. I didn't like Silent Hill. I didn't like. It's just not my style of game. I just don't. I don't enjoy them very much. Um, I don't enjoy getting scared. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy the style of gameplay. I just never really my thing. So it's never really been on my radar. If it comes out and people are saying, "Oh, this is one of the best games ever of all time," I'll look into it. But I've been burned on the earlier Resident Evils. I was burned on 5.
I didn't
So
like 5
okay,
either.
well we'll
So
see. Yeah, I just I'm a wait and see. I am not a I must have the latest and greatest thing right now type of guy.
yeah,
I'm a let's see how this plays out type of guy, and that does hurt me to a certain extent in terms of like YouTube viewership or Twitch streaming viewership because I don't play the latest and greatest games all the time, and people want the latest and greatest games. They need them. Um, uh, it's just not, I'm not willing to drop the money on it to be unimpressed with, a $40 million budget game that has clipping issues.
yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
do you have any closing comments? Because I've gone through kind of what I had in mind to go through today. So
Cool. Well, I mean, I I hope you guys tuned into Drop Dead Cynical and listened to it with a different ear than maybe you've listened to it in the past. Because I know a lot of people think it's me as a person. It's not. It is a show we put on, and we try to give people a smile. We try to make people laugh. But if you are at all very political to one side or another, you're probably not going to like it because we like making fun of everyone. Everyone is fair game to us. Um, but please give it a shot, man. Twitch.tv/LordKat, Saturdays at 3 p.m. And that URL will change eventually, but for now it is what it is. So if you can, give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it. I'm always open to hearing feedback, constructive feedback. Um, and go out there and do what's fun. Do something you like. Don't worry about what other people think. I think that's the biggest message I got out there for people is don't worry about what everyone else thinks because if you want to do something, go do it. You know, like if your goal in life is to be popular, you're gonna be miserable. If your goal in life is to be rich, you're gonna be miserable because the chances of that happening are so infinitesimally small. It's ridiculous. But if your goal in life is to go be a rock and roll star, you could be in a rock and roll band. You gotta learn how to play guitar or drums or learn how to sing. So go learn to do that and then go do it. You could do it. A lot of people do it. May not be popular, may not be huge, may not be successful, but they do it and they're having fun. They get to live that life. Sure, all right, fine. They're not multimillionaires. What does that matter? You know? So go out there and have fun. Go do what you want to do. That's kind of how I see myself. I'm that dude in the rock and roll band who's never going to put out an album. Maybe they'll do a tour, quote unquote, with some really shitty dive bars in the Northeast United States. Maybe they sleep in the back of a van. But they're doing it. You know, they're doing it and they're having fun doing it, and they have some good stories along the way. They make some good friends along the way too. So that's my message. That's what I got to say to the audience. Go do what you want to do, man, and fuck everyone else. They don't matter.
all right. Well, it has been great having you on, LordKat.
It's been
Jason,
fun,
I should
man.
say. But yeah, this was fun. Definitely something I would do again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you ever want me on, I'll be glad to chill. Just
Okay.
I will try. I will do my best to not miss the 2 o'clock start time.
Man, that was getting so close. I was worried.
Sorry about that, man.
That's all right.